What's up, money growers? Jacob back here with another video talking to you guys today about not just finance, but also education. And maybe I should say formal education, the idea of education in college and things like that as it pertains to people's finance, money, income, and all that kind of thing. So this is something I just want to discuss because I am someone who has done a lot of college. Obviously, I have a channel here talking about finance. I've been making money online full-time for several years now, but I've done a lot of college, starting from taking my first classes in high school for college all the way to having my master's degree in business. I think it's the first video I've ever said that on this channel. But guys, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so yet, because the next time I see you, you're going to have more money, okay? And that's what I want to talk about today, is having more money in college and whether or not it actually helps with having more money, okay? Because it can keep you poor, and it can really make you poor, okay? But it's not so black and white. We're going to talk about this, all right? So 5 ways college can keep you poor. Your big one is the fact that just money handling in general is really not taught in schools. I live here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and recently there was some legislation that came out last year where they said they are going to start teaching some kind of money management in schools. And I know it's been happening across the country in different places. How well that goes, we'll find out. But just the fact that, you're truly taught nothing. Like from being a kindergartner all the way through high school. It's for most people, that was their experience, right? And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't get taught anything in their home. They follow whatever habits they saw their parents take on, or, their grandparents, whoever raised them, the people around them, they just really adopted it and followed those habits. So they really didn't make a conscious effort to wind up doing something different. They're just following what they saw other people do around them. So the fact that handling money is not taught in school, even lots of finance classes. I've taken undergraduate and graduate level accounting and finance and that kind of thing. In undergraduate finance, we did learn a little bit about time. We did learn some stuff about time value of money, which was kind of cool to learn about that. Like how $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. So if you're in one of those fields, maybe accounting or finance, something where you are dealing with money, you may get some exposure, but you're still not going to get lessons on how to handle credit card debt, or your statement date or your due date or your credit score. You're still not going to get things like that. You're not going to get taught about applying for mortgage or those kinds of things. You're just not going to get that kind of personal finance. You may get some business stuff, or you're going to get business stuff, but you're not going to get much personal stuff. So the fact it's not taught in school really helps set a lot of people up for failure. Because you get your degree, you learn to work for someone else, you learn to you're going to make an income, but you're also making money for whatever organization you're in. But then you're not taught what to do with the money that you're actually earning. Now that brings me to the second point of another way college can keep you poor, or it can make you poor, is, when I talk about going to work for somewhere afterwards, is the type of degree you choose to get. Because not every degree in college is going to get you paid the same. I know some people hate to hear that. Some people, that pisses them off. But the marketplace, once you get out of college and you're in the marketplace and you're in the real world, that's how it is, okay? Whether you get upset or not, whether it hurts your feelings or not, that's what it is. So there's a reason that people who come out of college with a degree like in the STEM field, right? So STEM, S-T-E-M, science, technology, engineering, math. Why people who come out with degrees in those 4 areas get paid more than someone who comes out with a degree in a social science, like psychology or sociology or something like that. Because if you have a degree in psychology, it's okay, and you go to an employer, it's harder for the employer to assess what your skills are. Plus, so those are more on the softer skill side, where a lot of your work you do in those classes is more subjective. Okay, yes, you can write a paper, but people can bullshit papers, right? Yes, you can do it in MLA format, AMA format, that kind of thing. But this wall right here behind me, if you're an engineer and you have to stress test, and you have to see, is this wall going to collapse or not? You can't bullshit that. How much stress can this wall take? Okay, either it's right or it's wrong. It's black or white. There is no I think this, and you can't really pontificate about it. Either this building is going to collapse and get people killed, or it's structurally sound and people are going to be safe. So which one's taking on more risk? Which one has a more valuable skill set in that regard? And also the fact that in the U.S., I remember seeing this probably over a decade ago, only something like 4% of college graduates have a degree in a STEM field, where it's 20% have a degree in a history, a psychology, a sociology, communication studies, ethnic studies, anything like that, right? Or I've heard the saying before, anything that ends in the word studies is generally not going to be as valuable in the marketplace. So when you come out of college If you have something like you're a software engineer, you're a computer engineer, you go into chemistry, biology, you are accounting, you're in finance, you're in some kind of science, you're in technology, you're working in IT, management information systems, things like that, those are going to get you paid more money because less people have degrees in that, less people have those skills is probably a better way to put it. So if supply and demand, if less people have those skills and they're in demand, they're going to get paid more and they're going to get compensated more for it. If you have something over here that's, not as in demand and there's lots of people for it, they're not going to get paid as much. So getting your degree in something that's really not that economically valuable, that can really hurt you big time, because also when it comes to being in school, this is going to be the third point, oftentimes in school you're taught that there's only one right answer, okay? And that's really hurtful when it comes to coming out here in the real world of life. Right? I mean, basically, a lot of times when you're in school, it really encourages perfectionism. And this can vary depending on your degree, because maybe some degrees, like I said, some of the social sciences, right? You can give your opinion, you can, kind of justify it and go back and forth, and it's more of a worldview thing. But oftentimes, even outside of those classes or in other classes, you're just taught there's one right answer. It's right or wrong, and that's it. So it encourages you to try to be a perfectionist, which last time I checked, none of us are perfect. Me, you, no one. Okay, none of us are perfect, right? And the fact that you're trying to chase something that doesn't exist, because you come out here into life, and life isn't perfect. Lots of times there is no one singular answer. Lots of times there is no direction on the thing to do, right? You don't get a syllabus for life after you graduate. Like you do the first day of class in college, you say, oh, this is what's going to happen this semester. This is how it's going to go. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, you don't get that nice layout when you come and you start living your own life. Now that brings me to the fourth thing to talk about in college, and this segues right off the third one, and that is the fact that you get punished for mistakes. I mean, you do, because think about it. If there's only one right answer for something, you do, and you get it wrong, you get punished for it, right? You lose points. Your score gets hurt. Some of you probably been in class with people I know I have who, the person gets a 99% on the exam and the person's not happy. It's like, okay, because, and some people they just love to study and get the perfect score, right? Trying to get the perfect score. And, they want to go without making any mistakes. Well, in life, you're going to make mistakes. If you're trying to make money, you're definitely going to be making mistakes. Business owners, they screw up all the time. There's so many roadblocks they have to go through. I'm even just doing stuff here on YouTube. In the beginning, I really had no idea what I was doing. You just have to start and figure it out, which is really the opposite of when you go to school, because in school, like I said, they tell you, the material, they tell you all the material ahead of time. You get your syllabus when you go to your class. I mean, they tell you what's going to be on the test. When you come to life, it's pretty much the opposite. You don't know what challenges are going to come your way. Sometimes you get a challenge and you don't know the answer. And the people around you may not know the answer. And you don't necessarily have like a professor or a teacher you can go say, hey, tell me what the answer to this problem is. It's not always like that. And the fact that you get punished for making those mistakes discourages risk-taking. Now, if you're going to be successful in the business world, some people, they run their business and they take on more risk than others, whether that's using debt, whether that's, a gamble they took, or they saw the marketplace go. I don't mean like a literal gamble. I do live here in Vegas. Not like literal gambling, but a gamble they took because maybe they saw the marketplace shifting and they decided to put a whole bunch of money over here and it paid off. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. But you have to be willing to take that risk to get a big reward. And school definitely doesn't teach that. You definitely do not learn that in school. It discourages risk-taking and encourages you, to always try to look for the right answer, which can really make you hesitant and make you overanalyze and make you, get an analysis paralysis. Because in life, sometimes you don't have all that much time. And like I said, oftentimes there's not one singular answer. So you can be looking for this one answer for some problem. And it's like, there isn't really just one answer. There's multiple answers. You pick an answer, you pick one and you go. Maybe that doesn't work. Okay, well, you get other chances. So school really doesn't prepare for that kind of mentality when you're getting out. And the fifth and final point we'll talk about for how college can keep you poor. This one, oh gosh, this one hits home so hard. Because I've paid off over $100,000 of student loan debt in my life. And this is student loan debt we're talking about. Because the cost of college is what it was. What it's been, heck, particularly for millennials, we'll speak. I'm a millennial. What it's been for millennials is nothing compared to like what it was for like the baby boomers and that kind of thing. And even people older than the baby boomers, right, who could work a part-time job and pay their way through college, or the baby boomers who might take out some debt, but it was much more manageable when they were getting out. The amount of debt and the amount of costs for what you're getting in return, man, it's gotten bad. Over the years, millennials probably have taken the worst of it. And I know I paid my portion. I paid mine. I basically got a mortgage and no house out of the whole thing. And again, part of it ties into all this stuff where you're not taught about how to manage money. You don't know how much money you're taking. At that age, you're in your late teens, early 20s, you have no concept of how much money you're taking out when you have 20,000, 40,000, 60, 80, 100 plus $1,000, right? Even the interest rates on it, how much you're going to pay long term. And unfortunately, like I said earlier, a lot of people, even their parents, don't know. They don't think about it. They just think, okay, you go to college, you get your degree, you're going to make this money and you'll be good. It's like, no, life doesn't work that way. Okay, those numbers don't care. Those numbers don't care about how you think or your assumptions of what's going to happen in the future. The numbers on the amount you're taking out, the numbers on your interest rate and those kinds of things, those numbers don't care. So you go in, and that's a big one, is having student loan debt. If you can't afford college yourself, or if someone else is going to pay for it, or with scholarships or whatever, that's huge, because the amount of money that I've potentially lost from all that money I had to pay off, that set me back so far. And I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. So it sucks when you're completely broke. It sucks to have a negative net worth that bad when you're just starting life. You come out, you're just starting, and you're in a huge financial hole that's taken away decades of growth that you could be getting when it comes to making money or just investing money. And that one hurts big time. And that can really help. It can help keep people poor. And some people, they have huge student loan debts and they got a degree that's not paying them that much. They're in big trouble with those. So some people, it's like they're going to be just broke for decades of their life and just hoping that there's some answer, or hoping that some legislation passes going to, quote unquote, save them from their situation. That's a terrible place to be. It's a terrible way to start off, your life after college. So I think that's going to be enough for this video, guys. I did want to share just these thoughts and, this kind of thing. This is more of a obviously conversational video where I really ask the audience for your opinion. And, I've been there for a lot of these things. Like I said, I've been through this process. I know it's hard to change out of it. And I know you come out of it and you're like, sometimes you be pretty upset about the results you got. But there's out here in life, there's a lot of opportunity. Okay, I'll say it like that. So I do appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And until next time, keep growing your money.